Yeah, so hey everybody, we are here with one of my star students, Heather, and she has agreed to talk a little bit about her experience in the Ready for Love group coaching program. So, Heather, yeah, are you ready to just kind of get into it?
Sure.
Yeah, I love this. So, if you could sum up your experience in Ready for Love in just a few sentences, what would you say?
Oh, so they're essay questions, Martha.
I know. That's just you should, I mean, that's how we do this. I mean, that's.
Um, I would say it's been very enlightening. I've learned a lot about myself. Uh, it's been intense. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, and yeah, I feel a lot more confident in how I'm going to progress in my love life.
Love it. No, that was A plus essay. Like it was short, it was simple. You're good. Awesome. So, how has your attitude about dating at this point in your life changed since Ready for Love?
I'm a little bit more excited to do it, to date, um, but uh, probably even more particular now.
Good. That's what we want. We want that selectivity. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, love that.
But even though, even though, like, I could take the attitude of, okay, this is just practice. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so happy to hear that. So, Heather, what was your favorite part of the group program?
Favorite part, probably the one-on-ones with you as well as the human design. That
Mm.
that kind of blew my mind.
I mean, in what ways did the human design blow your mind?
Uh, just learning about myself, and one of the things she said to me was that I almost didn't. Uh, I almost didn't know this about myself, but it all, when she said it to me, I realized how true that was. That um, I don't like to make plans
Mhm.
because I don't know if I really want to go until the minute before.
Mm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's like right on point with me. Is like for example, I was dreading that ride yesterday
Hmm.
because I wasn't interested in that man.
Yeah.
But it was such a great experience and it was awesome. So I got really excited about it right before we left and I went. So, I mean, that's just how it is. I had plans with somebody else and I begged off with him and I went with these people and it was a great time. So,
Wonderful.
so
Yeah.
it was more of I know that about myself that I dread going to some things, but I'm
Yeah.
such a people pleaser, I'll go anyway.
Yeah.
So that kind of narrowed it down for me. Like, oh, it's okay to stay, to cancel at the last minute.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I know when, you and I, started working together, that was something that you were really kind of trying to navigate and really struggling with was this tendency to be a people pleaser and this tendency to not want to kind of rock the boat, especially with men. So, how have your attitudes with people pleasing and how you act as a people pleaser, what do those look like now?
Well, I'm not perfect
Right.
by any stretch of the imagination. Um, I do a lot of people pleasing with my dad, and being on
Mhm.
vacation with him, I realized just how much I do. Uh, but I'm starting to speak up more, and like I said, wow, I'm not perfect. I'm learning, and I'm
Yeah.
recognizing it.
Yes, I love that. No, and it's just like progress is always going to be like step by step, like incremental. Like nobody changes decades of programming, overnight. It just doesn't happen like that. Um,
Right.
so when, obviously that, ready for love, this was the second iteration of the class, and it is going to be, we're going to be launching it again for a whole new bunch of fresh faced new gals. So for those women who are looking to join and are maybe watching this testimonial, what would you say to someone who is on the fence about joining the Ready for Love group course? Any words of wisdom or any words of advice for the ladies who are coming after you?
Just do it.
Love
If
it. Love it.
if
Yes.
it's if it came across your news feed or whatever, it was a sign.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. And just kind of that kind of courage and that leap of faith that, that you took in class, even when you were watching most of them on demand, and your ability though to, to watch those afterwards and to incorporate, we don't call it homework anymore. We call it the additional for what do we call it? The invitational for additional reflection. And
Uh,
just that, is it, I
the
think you were
idea,
the
uh,
IAD,
I,
IAR,
yeah, something. It was, yeah,
who
invitation for a
knows?
IAR. Yeah.
Right. And I
Okay.
mean, and I think for Heather, Heather was kind of a, for the folks watching this, Heather was a clear example of just because you cannot attend the live sessions does not mean that this is not going to be for you. Heather was able to watch the sessions on demand during her schedule, still participating in the one-on-ones, and has literally been one of the star students. I'm not saying that like about, everybody, but she's just been absolutely incredible. And I think, when you are willing to kind of jump in and go and do it, you are going to get those results that you crave. So if I can ask, and kind of like flipping the script for a minute, what almost made you say no, if anything, to joining Ready for Love when the opportunity was presented to you?
Um, that would have been the money,
Okay, yeah, the investment, sure.
yeah, the investment. Um, I, yeah, yeah, that was the hardest part
Yeah.
because in addition to hiring you, I had just hired a financial advisor.
Oh God. Two things to not like do. Yeah. Save time.
So I was gonna have to explain what, what these charges on my credit card were after I just told him I wasn't gonna use it. So
Fair enough. But then so what was it then? Because obviously, yeah, the investment in a group coaching program like this is not, and as a coach, like I understand that, the investment of time and finances that the women, that I'm blessed to work with come into, that is not an insignificant fund or insignificant amount like at all. So what is it that pushed you past the hearing the financial advisor and looking at the credit card statement, and what made you say, what, I understand this is an investment, but God damn it, I'm going to do it anyway? What did that look like for you?
well, I think we discussed it in the very beginning was I know that what I was doing wasn't working.
Hmm.
And to continue doing the same thing is just the definition of insanity. I needed to do something different.
Yeah.
And like I said, when it came across my feed, I just felt like it was a sign. And I just went with my gut. And I
I
figured,
love it.
the money will come.
I love that. I love that. And so what else, is there anything else that that you'd like to add or you'd like to say about our time working together or with the other women? Definitely feel free to share with the women who are watching this right now, who might be the next Heathers in just 4 short months. Well, anything else you'd like to say to the lovely folks who are watching this right now?
I say just follow your gut. Martha's amazing.
No.
And she will reveal some things about you that you didn't know about yourself. So
I love
it's
that. Yeah.
well worth your time.
Thank you. And you guys, I did not pay Heather to say that. I promise she's like not getting
Oh,
slipped money like underneath the table after that. Well, thank you so much. You have been just so incredible to work with, and your hard work and
okay.
your dedication into this process has just been a gift for me as your coach. And I'm super excited to see where all of this takes you, and just the incredible love that I know that you are going to easily attract and experience after this course. So I wish you the best of luck. And there you have it, folks. Another testimonial and Ready from Love for one of my star students, Heather. So we'll talk to you later, Heather, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so then you were feeling like this time around, you were feeling like a lot more reserved than usual, than like the other times that you've gone and done a trip like this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I went out by myself the other night and it was just, I don't know, the place I chose, it was a bad vibe.
Mm.
It was a whole bunch of locals. They all knew each other. It was not easy to break into a conversation, and I think that kind of turned my mood. That makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, so
So,
in the past, when you've gone and like if you step into like a local place, have you still been able to feel like if the vibe is off? Like, has that been something that you've been able to do in the past?
have I been able to feel it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're like, okay. And then so in the past, what would you have done? Even if you felt the vibe was weird and it wasn't to your liking,
Oh, I just leave.
you'd leave. Okay. So then, and in the past, so did you feel like, so you're like, this time I've been more reserved. Does that make sense? But in the past, like, how did you feel? Did you feel like more fun and fancy free, or like what was that feeling like in the past? And differently than now.
Yeah, kind of more fancy free, I guess. Just
Mm.
kind of
Hmm.
reckless.
Oh, interesting. So when you were feeling reckless, like what was the result of that? Then were you talking to people you didn't want to talk to? Were you like giving your number to guys that you're just like, I really hope he
I
doesn't
gave my
call me?
number to a guy and I was like, he is not my type, but
Okay.
I will take him home.
Look,
Kind of thing.
sometimes a girl's got needs. So, but then now though, you're like, hey, I feel more reserved. And so where are you feeling that in your body?
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
with that feeling of being reserved though, being reserved
Well,
isn't necessarily a bad thing.
the reserve, maybe the reservation is coming more from my head. Does that make
Well,
sense? Because I feel like I'm trying to, I don't know, be smarter.
okay. Yeah. I mean, and so it sounds like it's almost like a little bit more, you're being like a little bit more protective of yourself. And if I can reflect that back. And I think that, well, I don't want to assign a judgment to that. What are your feelings on that? Do you like that feeling, or is it just a new feeling that like, what's that feel like for
No,
you?
it's not a new feeling, but I don't necessarily like it.
Okay.
I I really am here to have a good time, and I'm
Mhm.
forcing myself to go out, literally.
Yeah. I mean, and is it that you're forcing yourself to go out because you're tired, or you're like, just something feels off, or I mean, I don't want to go out too late. I'm afraid that there's going to be some skeezy dude that's going to try to grab my butt. Like, talk to me
Now,
a little bit about that.
I don't, I guess I'm just forcing myself to go
Hmm.
just to get out, just to meet people,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's feeling like a chore. Usually
Interesting.
once I
Okay.
get there, I'm okay.
Hmm.
Especially if, like the other night when I went to the House of Blues, it was the vibe was bad. I just came home. I was like, that wasn't even worth my time.
Yeah.
I didn't have fun. But when I went down to the biker bars, I had a much better time.
Hmm.
But it is a half-hour ride.
Yeah. And then like
So
if you want a couple drinks, like you can't even do that because you gotta, ride back.
gotta
Yeah.
get your ass home safe. Yeah. So no, there's not much cutting loose and letting my hair down in that respect. I'm drinking water.
Yeah.
So I don't know. we'll see. I will try it again. I I'm on the fence about tonight just because of the weather.
Mm.
It's supposed to rain here. So we'll see. We'll see if I run into my friends too. I don't know if they will invite me along again or tell me
Mhm.
where they're going or
Well, and I think that there's, if I can offer this, I think there's a couple things that understanding that you have a lot even before this vacation, you had so much going on. You're dealing with, kind of like a day job that, is a little bit draining. It seems like, the last time you and I talked about that, there was this kind of like, I don't know if the word was fear, but there's this, fuck, I really don't want to go back into the office. I'm having like a lot better time. You know, I still have 8 years before I can retire with a pension, but this is like seriously draining me. In addition to that, I'm trying to run this business with my sister who's being a pain in the ass. In addition to that, I am not really liking how, in my, with my OnlyFans account or even with, my Alora, kind of count, people I am becoming aware and I am becoming awakened to the fact that people are treating me, especially men, in a way that I am not loving, that is not feeling good to me. So when you kind of look, and then I'm not saying this to be deminimizing, but fucking Mercury's been in a retrograde, right? If we follow any of that. And so sometimes, and by sometimes, I mean a lot of times for folks, it's very, very hard to just put all that stuff on a shelf and be like, you know what? I'm just going to completely ignore that and have a good time on my vacation. A
yeah,
lot of that just leaves these thumbprints. It like
yeah,
leaves these claws like in our arm that like doesn't. And so I think maybe it could be that
yeah,
you were trying to, and for some reason, like it's just very kind of hard to like put all that stuff on a shelf. And that is like kind of like dead weight that is leading you. So I think there's that. I think it's also, you're in South Carolina right now, right? So you drove from Pennsylvania and you were the one driving, right? Because you had the RV, right? And so that is a
there's
haul.
nobody with me. It's me and the dog.
That is a haul. And so how long did it take for you to get from where you are in Pennsylvania all the way down to South Carolina?
10 hours.
It's crazy. Okay. That is literally, you could go from the East Coast to Turkey. That is in 10 hours. So that is a lot. Okay. You have been burning a candle at both ends. You have been, even, before you went on this vacation, with the show that you were doing the dancing, you were doing this, you were doing that. It felt like you were not getting like the support that you wanted. You felt like, and so, then, I know you went and you were with your, with your grandkids. Like you guys went to, what is the place in Pennsylvania? The
Great.
fun,
Yeah, Great Wolf Lodge.
that was literally what, 2 weeks before you went, if even that.
It was yeah, it was a little bit. It was 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
Yeah,
And the negotiation to get the RV and this on, and so it's just kind of like there was so much that you were doing to
yeah,
this vacation. And even the process of getting down there, it's 10 hours. Like, look, we're not 17 anymore. We can't do that. It used to be like I see these like jokes online that it's like, why is it, that I was college, I could stumble home at 3 in the morning. I've, having like ramen and greasy pizza and a couple of beers and still get up at 5:30 in the morning to go weightlift. Like that was like
yeah,
literally, and run 5 miles. And that was literally me. I have a half a glass of wine. And then if I sleep wrong, I'm dead,
yeah,
for like, and so it is understanding then that that doesn't mean that anything is wrong. That just
yeah,
means that we are evolving and we are changing, and the things that we could just so easily switch off to enjoy a vacation that was very, very normal for us in the past might not really be the case. And that's just, it is what it is, and it is kind of in like I am evolving, and maybe the way
yeah,
that I approached vacations before, my body and just like who I am now is like just doesn't really feel as good as it did before. It doesn't really feel as good, having to like go ride someplace only to like not be able to have like a glass, have, bourbon or whatever because like I need to get back and then I have to like get it ready for a ride and then I have to get up early, and I think that's okay. To me,
yeah,
that shows that you're evolving and you're changing. And your body's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Your mind's
Yeah.
like, I can't just switch on and off anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's just we evolve.
So can I give you an update on the OnlyFans?
Please, absolutely.
I've lost almost everybody. I'm down to
Intro.
four
Okay.
people. And uh yeah, I hardly ever hear from anybody on the Facebook page anymore.
Mm,
And the last guy that did reach out, he and I were friends.
yeah.
He's not a complete stranger. But he was like, long story short, he asked me for a preview of the OnlyFans, and I responded with, I'm a businesswoman
Mm-mm,
and I don't
mm-mm,
ever send my pictures out.
mm-mm,
And he
mm-mm.
said, oh, okay, I understand. And that was that. But so I felt like I handled it better. And uh, yeah, it's just I know I'm attracting differently because they're not coming around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
And but I in the end I'm losing the OnlyFans
mm-hmm.
business revenue.
Right. I mean, and so if I can ask, how much was that business revenue a month?
I mean $50 a month.
Okay. Okay. So is that going to break your bank?
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, and here's the thing too. It sounds like that there's just you are in a transition right now.
Yeah.
And you are kind of shedding layers of who you were, kind of like you're a water sign. So you are very closely affiliated with, I'm being kind of like woo-woo here. But you are very closely related to a Scorpio because you are in that same kind of water sign as a Pisces. And so what water signs do,
Sorry.
no, it's so funny.
Tried to
Like,
throw it.
no, my pup used to be like that, but he's almost 15 and I got him one of those very kind of like these harnesses that one goes on his chest and one goes on his hip to like help him up the stairs.
Oh,
And
right, right.
and it costs like $120 because it's like this really fancy thing. And he's just throwing a fit because he does not want to wear it. I'm like, Mama does not want to carry you,
Yeah.
up the stairs. So
Yeah. Kind of
we
like
need
a
to
purse,
exactly
right?
that's exactly so I'm
Yeah.
like we need to compromise because Mama's shoulders out and although you're only 45 pounds and I can do that, I don't want to because Mom is tired, but like um
Right.
so it completely dogs are just so funny. But the thing is, it is understanding for you, Heather, you are in a place of transition right now. And sometimes that can, and you're like, well, wait, what I knew with my business, how I handled, my business and, all of that to get people that the way that I used to do that is no longer feeling good to me. And I can't force that. And I see kind of like just kind of the result of that is being true to myself and being authentic to myself. That means that I might be losing subscribers. Like as a businesswoman for me, this happens all the time. That if you feel like a change that you want to do that feels good to you and it feels aligned to you, not everyone's gonna support you on that. Not everybody's gonna be like along the way. And it is kind
Right.
of what I'd offer for you, then it's like, how do you want to celebrate who you're evolving to, but then also leaving space to kind of grieve? It's not even just like the $50, but it's grieving kind of the things that you like to do and the things that made you feel alive, but they're just tiring you out or like not making you feel great. How would you like to balance that or just kind of move through that space?
I'm sure I understand. How do I want to balance that?
Yeah, so the thing is, you're like, well, hey, I'm not having as much fun, on this vacation as I thought I would. I'm feeling
Okay.
more tired. I am forcing myself. What the fuck is going on? What happened? I used to love this. And then also, I am not attracting the people who used to pay, or because I have changed, that is me then leaving people behind who have chosen not to come on this journey with me. So you are in a state of transition right now.
Right.
There's loss with that. There's
Yeah.
grief. Doesn't have to be dramatic, or can be, whatever.
Yeah.
There's loss, there's grief, there's mourning.
Yeah.
There's also fear because we don't know what's on that other end. There's also can be excitement, but also fear. In addition to that, there can be resistance. Resistance is like the biggest enemy of progress because there might
Right.
be something in you saying, well, no, I want to keep doing everything that I used to do and I want the status quo. And no, I want to stay here. Although, like, your soul's like, no, a lot of this is just like not aligned with me anymore. Things have to like be a little bit different. So when you are feeling a certain way that you're like, what's going on? Just please understand those are the forces within you that are like battling one another right now.
And maybe that's why I feel like I make myself go, because if I don't, if I just sit here, I'm not gonna meet anybody.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna wallow.
Hmm.
And I don't like to be like that either.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't like to feel the pain or the grief that you do have to feel.
Hmm.
I don't like that part.
Right. Right. But just because we don't like it doesn't mean that we can ignore it.
Yeah.
And so going back to the balance, because there's so many different things going on in your life right now. You are going through such a transition, and if I can share this, probably more of a transition than like most of my clients, because you were kind of like analyzing many things that what do I even want to do with this business? Because my sister is being kind of a pain in the ass and trying to manage that. Trying to manage, can I even stay in this 9 to 5? I don't know if I even want to do that. What does that look like? Then there's kind of the question of like, kind of the approach to dating that you're like, maybe I didn't what I was doing in the past, maybe I've evolved from that and I wasn't feeling good with that. The way that I would, kind of attract men or meet men, I was not attracting the men who were to my caliber, frankly,
Right.
to my level. But then like, well, fuck, that's all I knew. So then it's like, how do I, how do I want to work through that? And it's understanding you don't have to have an answer on that, but it is accepting I am going through a state of transition now, and it's going to feel weird, and I'm going to be mourning things, and there's going to be things I just don't know. In that transition time on the ride, when you're getting the bugs hitting your teeth, when you're getting, the exhaust, or we have like a trucker who's being completely irresponsible, and like, you're like, oh my, yeah, we all know this, right? Like on the open road, like, how do I still want to enjoy that ride, knowing that there's going to be some parts of it that I don't like anymore, that maybe don't make me feel, as secure as I did. But knowing at the end, I'm going to be someplace that feels good to me. Because you wouldn't be feeling these things if the status quo had served you. You wouldn't have reached
Right.
out to me. You
Right.
wouldn't have, you wouldn't have like, you wouldn't be feeling, I'm having to force myself to go out and talk to people.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like you call it out in the wild. I'd like to meet somebody out in the wild. I
Yeah.
think that would be cool. Uh, but and I know that about myself that if I did the online dating again, which I've been thinking about,
Hmm.
I could potentially just hide there. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, on the fence.
Yeah. I
And
mean, and yeah,
when we first started, you said no woman over the age of 35 has any business doing online dating.
I still believe that.
Because then you threw it out there, and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
can I do that?
Well, I mean, let's look at this because I think there's a couple of things in that. and we kind of like talked about this during, the live class on Monday, because here's what I see happen so many times is we, especially as, more, evolved, more mature women, we were like, I'm so busy. I don't have time. I'm not in college anymore. I'm not with my single girlfriends. I've got adult kids. I've got responsibilities. I've got, grandbabies, like whatever. Like, I don't have time to go out in the wild and do whatever, whatever, whatever. So, oh, let me just, I outsource my Amazon deliveries. I outsource my grocery shopping. Let me just outsource my dating to this electronic thing. But what we find though is then we become 100% dependent on that. And then we're like, I'm not finding good men there. I'm not liking how this makes me feel. I'm not liking the quality of men. This must mean there's nobody there and I'm no good at dating. And that's not true at all. And so when
Well,
we kind of, and that's, and I feel like that's the experience with a lot of my clients who do online dating over the age of 35. I'm like, then don't do it.
you get caught up in talking to somebody every day.
Yeah.
And then when somebody is gone, you have to fill them with somebody else.
Hmm.
Like you're always, you get into this habit. So when you had us detox from that, I mean, that was a really good thing. And I don't know if I want to go back to that.
Well,
Like,
okay. Yes, this is exactly what I want to hear. Yeah.
I, 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 I don't, I don't want to just get caught up in chatting with somebody, anybody, and then, and then you go through that loss again
Hmm.
each and every time.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, I don't, I just, I'm really hesitant to go there.
Yeah.
But if I did, I like Bumble only because I can dictate who
Yeah,
talks,
you can initiate. Yeah, yeah.
and then I can only talk to one person at a time. I'm not into,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, maybe.
Hmm.
And then I will talk to him. That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and so I think there's a couple of things, and kind of like how I had said on Monday, and I think it bears repeating that if you want to online date, I think that that should only be a tiny slice of your pie,
Yeah,
and because when we just, but I never see like women doing that. I see them just doing online dating and they're like,
yeah,
oh, but I've diversified because I'm on five different applications. I'm like, no, no, that doesn't count.
no, no.
And so it is just being thinking of it as just a very limited resource. Your time is precious, your resources are precious. And so it is just being like, okay, if I am going to do this and I do want to do online dating, I need to be very mindful of I am only going to do this for 15 minutes a day. I'm actually going to take it off my phone and doing the old, I don't even, that's so bad. I'm saying old school, but doing it just via
Laptop.
laptop. That's how we did
Yeah,
it. Do you remember when Match.com came out? Like
yeah.
2000. That is, I was doing it like I was doing on a brand new thing called a laptop because I wouldn't, like I just, and so, um, doing it like that,
Well, you know
that,
what? I'm gonna talk myself right out of this because I don't want anybody who's online because then I will be continuously wondering if he still is on there.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the thing too is people are using that, and you brought up like this very kind of insightful observation that you're like, well, then the person disappears, and it's almost kind of like a mourning that you go through. Like, where'd he go? Now I'm mourning, he could have asked me out, he could have done this, this, this. And so the problem is with like online dating, it lulls everybody into this pattern of like laziness that we're
Yeah,
just treating it as just kind of like this lazy pen pal. The point of online dating is to get the fuck off, offline and to go on a date.
right, right.
But the problem is, but there's a couple of things, is a lot of folks just don't, I think, especially men of a certain age, have just like they've because they are a little bit isolated, especially single men, they just kind of like then start to almost kind of use that as kind of like a band-aid to address like their own problems of like loneliness. Loneliness just came out by the Surgeon General. I don't know if you saw this, as more hazardous than smoking. There's a loneliness epidemic.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it is
And
then,
when I'm sorry, and
oh,
when you
go
get
ahead,
on
please.
online dating, it's always, is the next person going to be better?
Yeah.
So there's a continual strain.
Yeah.
And
Especially because a lot of people online are just there not even to like date mindfully. Some of them are, but they just want the pen pal. They just want the easy hit. Online dating can almost be like junk food. And
yes,
so, yeah, it's no wonder why we feel like shit. And then secondly, when you kind of think of online dating, the purpose of online dating apps is to keep people online. It's kind of like the purpose of tobacco companies was to keep people smoking, smoking, smoking. They do not have a business model, online dating apps, unless you stay online. So it is their sole purpose to keep you addicted, to keep the dopamine hit, and to keep you swiping without ever actually going on the date. It takes a lot of discipline to break out of that and say, you know what? I'm only on here for 15 minutes a day. I am chatting and then I am talking, and this man better ask me out on a date, or I'm just, a lot of people don't have that discipline. And that is not like a
yeah,
judge on character. It is just our minds are wired. It's kind of like a chemical, like a chemical fix.
yeah,
And so that is not to, I mean, you can do it responsibly if you can. You can hire a digital matchmaker. That is the service I offer to my advanced girls after you guys come out, that you're not doing any of this swiping or setting up. I'm doing it for you because I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm like, okay, this guy looks decent. This guy is worthy to talk to Heather. I will be your gatekeeper. Or you forgo that altogether and make those natural connections that I
how
know
do
that
you
you
do
can
that?
make.
Do you do you initiate conversation first? Like, do you interview them, or how's that work?
So it's kind of like, I'm not saying that this is just how I do it. Is that like then we would pick, Heather wants Bumble, Heather wants Hinge. What happens then is I have you guys set up. It's this really cool program called LastPass. So I never see your password, but I have access to your account because it is this application, and I use it with my web developer. I use it with my virtual assistant. So they can get into my stuff as like but they don't actually see my password. And so that is, I walk you through that. So what then we do is in the advanced class, or depending on the one-on-one, if you wanted to do that, I then actually I coordinate work, having you guys work with a virtual photographer. If you do want some more pictures, you might already, up to you guys. And then we put those. I wrote, I write the profile like on your behalf, and then like I am swiping right or left. And then even when I do it, I don't put any of that on my phone. I just have that dedicating it on the laptop. And then so I will go in, okay, this is the 20 minutes, this is the 30 minutes designated time I have today to go and sort through with Heather's. And so I put, you and I talk originally, like, what are you looking for? Who do you want? And then we set that up. And then, like, at any time, because obviously it's your account, you get to go in and you get to see kind of like the conversations. But then I set, if this somebody has not asked out, because I'm almost like your avatar in a way. I'm like acting on your
Okay,
behalf.
okay,
Just to make it easier for you. If this person has not asked, and I direct the conversation that I would really love to have this conversation with you offline. I'm available on Thursdays or something like that, because I don't want you or me, your digital matchmaker avatar, to be just talking to this person for 3 fucking weeks and them not even do anything.
right.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's a little bit of subterfuge, but they don't need to know.
Okay, they don't need to know. Okay, so you don't. Okay, you don't disclose.
Oh God,
No,
no, no, no. I am
okay.
interacting as Heather Hartman.
As me. Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, yeah. Because they're not gonna fucking know. Men are stupid, but like they're not gonna fucking know. And so that is something that we can do, but then also
I
I would
have to go
still,
read the conversation before I met them.
I know, be like, Martha, what did you say? Like what would but then it's also then I would still encourage you to not be so reliant on that. And we would then kind of do um and we'll actually do this like in the group class tomorrow. I mean, the group class Monday, but then you'll have it recorded that it is like, and I don't know if you saw it in the group folder, there's like a 6-month accountability plan. for
Okay.
you to go and, like, okay, August, I vow to do these two things to go and meet and mingle. And so I think for you, that is entirely up to you. If you do decide, Heather independent, Heather continuing to work with Martha after Ready for Love or not, whichever. Um, but that is something that I would encourage you to do, even if you are, you're like, I'm going to try this myself independently, is not just be reliant on online. Just literally use that as 5 to 10% of your dating portfolio. But then leading with Heather now does not have to date how Heather did 5 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. You
Well, it's been a year, so
There you go. And I would kind of encourage you to think about, what did you like about how you dated a year ago? What did you not like about that? Like, let's talk about that for a second.
I was online then.
Okay.
So, uh, and then I got involved with Eric again, and then that broke up, and then I haven't dated since. So
Okay.
it's been over a year.
Okay. Was Eric, did you meet him online or was he local or what did that look like?
We actually had gone to school together and
Okay.
dated briefly a couple years ago, and I should have stuck with my instincts from that. But
Mm.
oh, I've changed.
Oh. And that is, remember, as we return to kind of our divine feminine, don't ever talk yourself into something or out of something. Obviously, it's like, yeah, I got to talk, I have to go to work, or yeah, I've got to pay my taxes. Like that's one thing. Yeah, sometimes we do have to like talk ourselves into that. But the other stuff, especially when it comes to men in relationships, that is something that we as women have that a lot of men do not have, is that kind of, I call it like the divine intuition, like your gut. And anytime with a man, if it's like this does not feel right, you do not talk yourself out of that. Like, do not gaslight your gut.
Yeah, it felt right at first, but of
It
course he
always
was love
does.
bombing.
It always,
Yeah. The girls at the studio pointed all that out to me. I was like, wait, what? The hell's love bombing?
yeah,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Yes, he did. So, and everybody, I mean, even the one guy I ran into down here was like, who the hell were you with him? Like,
Oh, but they knew you. So the guys down here, like, were they friends? Like, did you know these guys?
I ran into a guy here that would come to my shows. He's a friend of a student of
Oh,
mine.
nice. Okay.
So I had met him before, and he was like, "Hey, here's my phone number. If you get in a jam or need anything, call me."
Hmm.
Because he knew I was traveling down here alone, and I was like, "Thank you." He's married,
Just a
so
friend. Yeah.
yeah, just a friend. And so I met up with him at one of the bars and had a drink, and uh, we chatted for an hour or two, and uh, he was he was like, "Yeah." When I met him, I was like, I said to Glenn, "Why is she with him?" Glenn said, I've been asking myself the same question. And I'm like, so, nobody said that to me then, of course. But
No, because they want to, people are trying to be polite, but then they're like, "Ah, I don't want to come off as the asshole saying that guy's a piece of shit, or whatever."
right,
Yeah.
right.
But it is, and, but this is data. We're not here to judge, our decisions or whatever from the past, but it's like, okay, this thing that I did not do, listen to my gut, or whatever everybody was saying XYZ, and I was like, oh no, no, it's fine. Now I know in
Right.
the future, and that doesn't mean we become paranoid and we close ourselves off to love. Oh no, but it just does mean we take more information. You're a computer programmer, you take information and like you process it to get like a better, more nuanced picture. And that's how we're doing, with our love lives. And so, for you, I think like kind of a beautiful challenge, I don't want to call it a challenge, but like a beautiful opportunity for you is to now like really start thinking about, what do I want my dating to look like? Do I want to do I want to continue to take a break and work on some other things? Do I want to just say, no, I'm actually going to go on a date like once a month? What and if you don't know the answer to that, that's fine, but that is the opportunity I would present to you is, what do you want your upgraded, let's call it that. What do you want your upgrading dating experience to look like?
I kind of like the idea of the once a month.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see myself doing that and then continue to take myself out. And I'll be traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 trips planned for every month until September.
Atta
So
girl. Because are you going to PolCon in June, or are you gonna stick back in Pennsylvania?
I still have to talk to the appropriate people and see if I need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend Tina decided that she was going to go and get a hotel room, and she kind of wanted me with her. So I'll see what the if I'm needed to stay.
Okay. And when was PolCon?
It's in June, mid-June, 16th.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay. No,
That's in Washington.
do let me
It's
know
not
if you
your
end
way.
up, yeah, do let me know if you end up coming and we can like go like get a drink or have like lunch or something. I know because I'll be back on June 12th. So either way. So what other trips do you have then through the summer?
Okay, so that's I'm going to Laconia bike rally with my girls right before that. And then 2 weeks after, I'm doing the Bourbon Trail with my girlfriend.
Nice.
So we'll be going to Lexington,
Hmm. Hmm.
Kentucky, and staying in the Bourbon Bungalow. It's called. It's like a little Airbnb. It's
So much
super.
fun.
So that's a long weekend, and then July is camping with friends at
Hmm.
Gettysburg
Oh,
Rally,
nice.
and so I'll be close enough to home. And then why can't I
Sturgis.
think? Nope, not doing Sturgis this year. My gosh, I'm blanking. What's the end of July? There's something.
But it does sound like lots of adventures. Yeah, no worries. But no, it does sound like you've got like a lot of really good stuff coming up for yourself.
Oh, that's I'm supposed to go away with another couple camping to the beach. Uh where's that? Not Assateague. Chincoteague.
Oh, yeah, that is so beautiful, like with the horses. Like,
Yeah, the ponies are swimming that week.
yeah,
Uh
wonderful.
and I'm kind of on the fence about that one. That one is
Mm.
like, do I really want to do this with them?
I mean, I think you
So
have some, sounds like you have some time to figure, to
I
answer
do
that though.
I do. I have a few weeks yet to decide. I mean, I made my reservation, but I could cancel it, and I would have to do it in a couple weeks. So
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to let them figure some stuff out too. So
Yeah. I mean, and so, what I would offer you then is getting, this summer sounds like, kind of the summer that you're having, fun with your friends. And so I would kind of invite you to kind of like start thinking about, we talked about the upgraded dating experience. What does that look like? And you said, you know what? I only want to date one guy a month. And I also want to be taking myself out a lot. I mean, so the trips you're taking with your friends and whatnot, that's a great start. I would also invite you to start, actively planning that at least a week out or a couple weeks out. That how are you going to take yourself out every week or every other week, or even treat yourself? Do I want to make sure, my nails or, whatever makes you feel good? And
I got
so
my nails done today.
I saw that they look cute. Mine are just, I had to wait for them to grow some more because like whenever I have the gel, like I peel the gel off myself, which is not, and even like I buff it and it's just, and so they look really bad right now. And so I'm trying to get them, I want to get them done before Italy, but I'm just like, these two are so short. I'm like, can you go grow just a little bit more? Um, so and I want to try to do the dipping powder because I think it's
Okay.
the SNS one, like, because I do the gel, but I hear the SNS. One of my clients, hers, and she owns a bar. Um, should set you guys up. She's in California because you guys would be like best friends. She's a lot of fun. But she swears on the dips, and she says they last
Yeah.
like 6 weeks, and she's slinging the drinks and all of that. So I'm like, I have every
Yeah.
reason to believe her.
Yeah. Now I can make my gel last 4 weeks. And I was talking, I went to an amazing salon down here.
Oh,
I mean, this
nice.
girl knew her stuff. But I'm like, so the gel came off the last time
Hmm.
and I cried because all my nails broke and like peeled. Like they got so weak.
Hmm.
And I said, "Go, is that from the gel?" And she's like, "No, it's from how that last person took them off, took the gel
Mm.
off. She destroyed your nails." And I was like, "Oh, great. Oh,
Hmm.
I'm not going back to her again anyway." So
No.
I had the gel put back on, and it'll last me 4 weeks.
That's, I mean, and that's like, that's how it should last. My last one's
Yeah.
only lasted two, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to go to that salon in it because like, but the time I had it before that, or two times I had it before that, lasted a good 4 weeks. But I'm just like, this place is literally right across the street, So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
but the toes last great. So I'm like, the gel on the toes, that can last like 3 months, but like, um but I'm gonna try like the dipping one because it's more expensive, but I they say it lasts longer. So I'm like, let's try it. But at any rate though, and I'm gonna put this in I'm gonna send you a message on this. But I want you then what I would invite you to start thinking about, because right now you are evolving. You are in a transition. You are shedding layers of yourself that maybe that are, you're just becoming, it's just what it is. You're just becoming a more evolved version of who you are, who you're meant to be. You are becoming who you were meant to be. And so when we are evolving, the way that we best support ourselves and balance ourselves in that transition of evolving, as well as kind of mourning things that we used to like or things that made us feel good or whatever, is we take exquisite care of ourselves. We give ourselves like extra special attention. That doesn't have to mean like a massage, but it has to mean putting up clear boundaries, doing things that make us feel good, doing things that like getting very, very in tune to our gut. Like, what makes me feel alive? What is draining me? What do I need to say no to? How do I like set up better boundaries so I'm not feeling shit like because I'm people pleasing? Those are the things that we start like looking at. We start taking exquisite care of ourselves. And on that way, that means, going, taking ourselves to dinner, going and spending time with people that we love spending time with, who fill our cup and who don't drain us, who are not energy vampires. But then it can also be rooting out the things that no longer serve us. We're mourning those, but then there's things that we're just like hangers on, of different things that we're like, this is just dead weight. This is
Yeah.
like, this is like extra weight, on your RV. It'd be like if you had a motorcycle, having three motorcycles in a trailer that aren't working. It's like, why am I even carrying these back and forth? This is a waste of
Right.
gas. This is draining it. And kind of getting very clear on that, what that looks like for you in your personal life and how you go about dating. Because we do not want to be in a situation where we're spending precious time and our resources being with people who don't treat us right, being with people that are like, oh, yeah, show me your tits or whatever disrespectful thing that doesn't feel good to you. We are getting very, very concentrated and very aware of, I am, I am a queen. I'm not the serf looking for scraps. Like, I am the queen. I am getting treated like that. And people are going to treat me like that because I treat myself like that. I make that exquisite time for myself. How does that feel? How does that resonate?
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been thinking about some things that I need to cut ties on and
Hmm.
that are draining me. Yeah, don't feel right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. So when you get back, when you get back from from your vacation, take some time to journal on that, Heather. And if you want, I can just shoot you some of those prompts if that would be helpful.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, and if you'd like, I'd love to hear what some of those are for you. And then also then looking at what do you want to do this summer in addition to kind of the fun stuff that you have planned to continue to kind of take exquisite care of yourself.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that,
Okay.
let's have that set up as like the really good foundation for then when you start to date like once a month or, whatever, and get back into the groove of that, what do you want that to look like? Because once you've already set that precedent for taking exquisite care of yourself, it's going to be very hard for like some skanky dude who's not worthy of you to kind of like penetrate that. It's
I
just not
got
going
you.
to happen, you know.
Okay.
Okay. How's that? How does that feel?
Good.
Awesome. So I can't believe our one, I don't know where the time's gone. Holy shit. So we've got just one more live class and then we have like if people can make it on Memorial Day, great. If not, I'll just it's like a cute like little graduation ceremony.
Okay.
And then we're done. So, um, I'd love to continue to stay in contact with you and see how I can further support you, whether that is the Advanced Ready for Love, um, or whether that's like a one-on-one kind of VIP, situation. So do you want to kind of circle back what feels good like sometime mid-June to kind of like see where you are, see how it's going and go from there?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. That
Yeah,
would probably
yeah.
be perfect timing.
Wonderful. Yeah. So when I get back from Italy, I'll just set you like a message on on instant message and
Okay.
we'll figure out just like a quick time to kind of check in and go from there and see, what's the best way to continue to support you.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yay! Yeah,
Gonna miss our
wonderful.
chat.
Well, they don't have to necessarily end. We can continue to work together in a, different way or same way, whatever. But let's see what feels, take a couple weeks, see what feels good. And
Okay.
we'll reconvene in mid-June and we'll go from there to see if we want to continue chatting, if we want to do a one-on-one coaching, if we want to do group coaching, and we'll just see what's great for kind of the exquisite like upgrade, what do we want to call it? Your beautiful evolution.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've been incredible and
So have
uh
you.
yep, thank you. And then we'll talk soon because then you're teaching class and on Monday, right? So are you going to be at the live one?
Yes.
Oh, you
But
are?
not Memorial Day.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I am teaching this Monday, but not Memorial Day.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so maybe you can make it to the little
Yeah.
graduation. Yeah, and I feel bad like
Yeah.
doing that on Memorial Day, but I'm like, I gotta get it in before I don't want to leave you guys high and dry before I run away to go become like a mafia, Dawn or whatever it is. You know how it is.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, let me know if you have any questions and I'll talk to you really soon, okay?
All right.
All right, bye.